Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.com, and I've been with them for a long time. BetterHelp is an online platform where we found that you can effectively communicate with your therapist. Now, you begin by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist within a couple of days. And if that match isn't ideal for you, you can certainly make an adjustment there. Now, you're going to be encouraged to journal, and also they have the availability for group therapy on a wide array of topics, and I really like that. So as the need exists, go ahead and take the necessary steps to get the help that you need. And just know that BetterHelp has a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, so it indeed is a platform you can trust. There's a link below the video that will take you there. Hi, Team Healthy. Glad to have you here with another episode of Narcissism Is. It's my attempt to talk with you on a wide array of topics about some of the off-label aspects of narcissism. The more you know and understand what this pattern consists of, then the better off you're going to be in terms of responding in a way that would be inconsistent with what they want from you. Now, let's begin by reminding ourselves that a successful life, a life that is highly meaningful, is grounded in love and knowing the essence and living into the essence of love. Now, when we talk about love, we're talking about much, much more than a giddy feeling of attraction or exhilaration toward another individual. Love is a mindset. It's a way of life, and it has multiple ingredients. For example, when you know the essence of love, it means you invest your time to another individual. Time is a priority. It means that you know the value of self-restraint. You practice patience and kindness. You create joy and peace. You're known as somebody that can be counted on. There's a willingness to make sacrifices on behalf of another individual. There's an openness and a genuine willingness to be encouraging. You want to allow the other individual the sense of freedom to be who they are when you're in your presence. Love has so many different tangential ingredients such as that. Now, narcissism at its core is defined by many anti-love characteristics. We're talking about their selfishness, their need for control, their attitude of superiority, the willingness to build a false self and to hide behind it with lots of defensiveness, their manipulation. Indeed, narcissism is an anti-love state of mind. Now, sometimes narcissists can give the appearance of love, especially covert narcissists, in the sense that they can try to be friendly and pleasant and tell funny stories, etc., but they can only sustain it for a while. They can love bomb, and they can be fair-weathered friends, but when strains and difficulties come along and complexities begin to show up, that's when you're going to see the cracks in their presentation. Inevitably, narcissism is such a self-serving way of life that they can't sustain the key ingredients that go into love. Now, I want to talk with you on two different levels here with respect to what this absence of love does to the narcissist. We're going to start with some of the core ingredients, and I'm going to ratchet it up a notch. So hang in there with me as I describe all of this. When you have an absence of love, there are multiple signs that go along with that. And as you think about these, you might want to consider, first of all, of course, yourself, and then those that you might have great difficulty with. For example, the narcissists who don't know how to love do operate with a very strong agenda. And in doing so, they put people on edge. There's a certain way you're supposed to act and behave when you're in my presence, and it's going to be curtains for you if you don't maintain my agenda. They can be easily judgmental and critical. And when you notice them, particularly if you're in a good place with them for a short term, you notice them that they'll judge and criticize other individuals. And when you see that, ultimately remind yourself, you're going to be next. These individuals don't trust. Self-disclosure and vulnerability is anathema to these people. And if they do talk about some of their pain and difficulty, typically it's not of a, let me tell you what I've learned about myself kind of a mindset. It tends to be complaining and blaming other individuals. Let me tell you how these other individuals made my life miserable. And as a result, in their anti-love state of mind, they don't take responsibility for themselves. They just become a perpetual victim when things go wrong. On top of that, with their absence of love, these narcissistic individuals don't know how to handle diversity or complexity. There's so much variety built into the human condition. You don't think the same as I do. You don't have the same background as I do, or the same life experiences to draw upon, or interests, etc. And the loving person says, well, this becomes an opportunity for us to grow and expand when we know each other. And the narcissists, they think, nah, I'm not into that. You just need to conform to me already. In addition, in their absence of love, anger is just a very easy emotion for them to step into. It doesn't take much to trigger them. They can have an ongoing undertow of agitation and irritability. And over time, when you're in that person's presence, you realize I'm only one false move away from ticking them off. I don't know what it's going to be, but it is going to happen. And then when narcissists do err in their absence of love, they make lots of excuses. They're highly defensive. They can't say, I need to improve. Instead, it's like, no, you're going to judge me, and I don't like that. They bristle at the notion of accountability. Why is that? Because accountability to them implies submission and subjugation, and they don't want to do that. They have to stay in the dominant position. They're constantly posturing, and they are playing games of one-upmanship. In their lack of love, they can have plenty of passive-aggressive tendencies. By that I mean proactive non-cooperation, withdrawal, giving up, quitting, and they can have a lack of empathy. You need to know and understand me, but I don't need to know and understand you. Now, all of that is what I would refer to as level one in their absence of love. But let's take it up a notch. It's not, all of this is bad enough, but there's an extra ingredient that opens up when the person has what I've already just described. And that is when you have this lack of love in the presence of these other ingredients, you're open to wickedness. Okay, that's a strong word. You're open to an extra measure of meanness. And by that I mean you're very willing to destroy other individuals. You're very willing to denigrate other people. Now, on a grand scale, let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Then I want to bring it down more to where you live. The Holocaust, for example, was not just an absence of love. It was a willingness to destroy. The slave industry was not just an absence of love, it's a willingness to denigrate another human being. Corporate greed is more than just an absence of love. It's a willingness to build one's stature upon the shoulders of other individuals that you denigrate. And gangs or drug orientation where you're willing to bring people into self-destructive kind of behaviors. So on a grand scale, you can see that there's this absence of love that takes it to that next level. But then let's put that on the personal scale. Think about the various forms of abuse that happen. And as a therapist, I heard so many different stories about the abuse that individuals would have. When you have various forms of abuse and trauma, the individuals who perpetuate that have more than just an absence of love. They're willing to take that absence of love and then have a destructive, denigrating, wicked attitude toward you. Whether it's physical violence, domestic abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, and I never got used to hearing stories about sexual abuse. It would just cause me to ache whenever I would hear them. And I hope, frankly, I never do get used to something like that. Or if it's somebody that has a horrific, exaggerated outbursts of anger and intimidation and dominance, highly insulting, and then on top of it, they don't make any kind of apology for being the way that they are. That's what's sad. Or another way on that more personal level is the lack of love opens the door for the narcissist to actually train and teach people to hate. Now, we can say, for example, in family situations where a parent or someone of that nature is down on the case of another individual, so they teach the children to hate the same people they hate, or sometimes the lack of love on that a person's life takes the destructive form of physical and emotional neglect. And it could be that there's chronic lifestyle irresponsibilities, knowing full well it's going to lead to destruction. For example, I've heard of people doing criminal type of activities behind the scenes, not paying their taxes and letting the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax bills come along, and then the other person is responsible for that. It can allow them to be cold-hearted in the presence of someone else's pain. The non-loving narcissist truly thinks, I don't care. I don't care if you're in pain. I don't care if you are suffering. I don't care if you're coming against me. Narcissists, in the absence of love, have no appreciation for us. There's no we in the equation. They have a lack of blending. They have a lack of harmony. They have chronic adversity. It's me versus you. We have a word for all of this. It's called discordance. And basically, in the absence of love, they do not have a shared sense of our humanity. I'm a human being with needs just as you are. I want to have support and encouragement just as I know you do. Let's see if we can make this work together. So understanding this and realizing that the narcissistic pattern can be defined by an absence of love, and on that level one, that's not good enough. But then on level two, when it opens the gateway to all of this destructive and denigrating and wicked kind of mindset, it reminds you, I can't afford to be in the presence of someone who lives life with this kind of way of living. It's not wrong for you to feel disgusted, but what I'm hoping you can do is I'm hoping you can say, what is my disgust trying to tell me? And really it comes down to the notion that says, as I feel disgusted and pained and hurt by that narcissist, it's a reminder that says this is not an individual who has any right whatsoever, and I'm hoping you hear me on this. This is not an individual that has any right whatsoever to call the shots in your life. The way I look at it is I only have one life to live, and I want to make it count. And when that person who's a narcissistic individual comes at me with an absence of love, it means the absence of my connection. Love defines me. Now, I hope that videos like this can give you some good awareness of what you might be dealing with. Like I say, knowledge is power, and I'm bringing these to you so that you can have that much more of a sense of personal empowerment as you live your life in the cleanest way that you can. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. Know that I'm a huge proponent of therapy, obviously. You know that I've been sponsored by the people at BetterHelp.com. There's a link below this video. If you have the need for to have a licensed professional therapist help you sift this out, the folks at BetterHelp have the availability to do this with you online. It's affordable. It's proven to be effective. Get the help that would be needed, and I strongly encourage you in that direction. Now, I invite you to go to my website. We have lots of resources there. I have a deep history of giving seminars and writing, etc. On my website, I have a tab that says courses, and I have 4 primary courses. They're very extensive, and they each have at least 25 teaching videos with handouts and guided questions. We have the anger games. We have This Is Me about your boundaries. We have Ready, Set, Connect about making healthy connections. Free to Be, Finding Yourself Despite the Controllers. Invest in that if that's necessary. And then in addition, we also have my webinars, which are 90-minute PowerPoint presentations along with hundreds of articles, my books, etc. It's sad. It's tragic when you realize the narcissist truly does not understand the essence of love. But I'm hoping that's something that you invest your entire life in, you give yourself over to it, and then when that person proves incapable, you move beyond to individuals who know how to reciprocate. I truly hope that you do know and lean into the essence of love, because in the end, that's the only way you're going to find true peace.